I was homesick from school, and Mom and I were baking cookies for when he got back.
So my mother-in-law was coming into town that morning, and my wife wanted me to get my shift covered, so I could spend time with her.
Well, it was just like any other morning. I got on the train, got to the building, got my bagel and coffee like I always do.
So I called him and I said, will you take my shift, And he says, what is this time? You're gonna go golfing? Good, because you need to, And I was like, no, family's in town, you understand how it is.
And then she turned on the TV, and we saw what was happening.
I couldn't see. There was fire, there was smoke everywhere. I kept hearing explosions and what sounded like gunfire.
So he says, yeah, sure, brother, I'll do it for you. I hope you get the highest score, His jokes there, he'd tell jokes, we'd laugh. And then I says, obviously you're not a golfer. And as funny as that is, that was one of the last things that I ever said to him.
A piece of debris fell on my leg and just crushed it. I thought it was it. And then I saw a light through the smoke.
He would always call me brother and make me feel like he was family to me. And ever since then, nobody's ever made me feel like that outside of my family. And so losing that on that day,
Something changed after it happened. I was old enough to understand it, but my little brother, who was only 4 years old at the time, didn't understand, and he kept asking why Dad wasn't coming home.
When I first heard about it, I just kept thinking, no, this can't be happening, this can't be happening.
I had planned on running errands later that afternoon, and then I remember thinking it wasn't going to be an afternoon.
I remember coming in, and I'd think, where's Dad? And I'd have to remind myself.
He pulled me up, and the first thing I noticed was his badge number. And I'll never forget that number. It's 2036.
The thought kept running in my head that should have been me up there. But I was at home watching it on television, and that should have been me.
I look back and I think, what if he hadn't have been there? What if I hadn't have been the one that he grabbed? I feel like I owe the guy so much, and I don't even know him.
But we find out that he was one of the first to enter the building, and he was one of the first to the top of the building to get people out. That's what he did. That's who Robert was. And I regret it every single day, and my wife tells me, she's like, you can't change the past, you can't. You can't change what happened, but I can't help not thinking it's my fault in a way.
It really makes you think about everything, how everything is a blessing.
There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of him.
This isn't easy. This is for him, though. This is for Robbie. So people can hear his story because he was a great man.
I still go to his grave all the time, just to talk, let him know how I'm doing. And every year, Mom and I bring cookies.
I still spend time with his family, Samantha and Robbie Jr. And they're like family to me now.
I still feel the pain, the grief, the headaches, the trauma, all that, but I felt like I was reborn.
I know what he did was brave. And I know he did the right thing. But I just want him back.
He would have taken that shift from me, even if he knew what was going to happen. That's how he was. He was a class act. And I will never forget him for what he did for me, my family, the people that he saved that day, the greater New York City, and our country.
I'll always remember him as my hero.
I'll always remember him as my hero.
I will always remember him as my hero.
I do remember it was late last September when the ending in my storybook changed. I woke up to the sound of the whole place going down, and the smoke was too thick to see a thing. And I don't know how it was me that got out, and somehow she was the one that the fireman didn't have time to say.